And off we go. All right. Welcome to your Warrior Week episode of Parables from the Pit. With me is friend of mine, Matt from California, not Utah. Is that right?
Right. That's right.
Okay. Well, I thought you were from Utah, but then Gary told me that your brother's from Utah. But you've been with me inside of Warrior Week. I think you came to 61.
60.
60. All right. So Warrior Week, graduate of Warrior Week 60. Thank you for being on the call. And we're going to have an amazing conversation. Matt Radmacher, graduates of Warrior Week 60, my brother. So to begin with, bro, what brought you to Warrior? I know back in the days, your brother done the mission with Garrett back in the days. So I don't know if it was through your brother that you found out about Garrett and how long ago was that. But really, Matt, what brought you here inside the Warrior and why?
Okay. Yeah. So my brother, David, served a mission for our church with Garrett down in Florida. And my brother, 20 years ago or whatever, and my brother was visiting with his family. And I still remember he was standing in my kitchen, and it's just one of those things where he mentioned Garrett's name. And my brother knows that I'm like super passionate about personal development and self-mastery and all those kinds of things. And so he mentioned this guy from my mission. He's like really successful, has a lot of things going. But what was funny is he said that, he cusses a lot, uses a lot of profanity. So I don't think he'd be that interested, but he still threw out the name Garrett White. And it was ironic because I was listening to Dan Locke and David Goggins were kind of people that I was following before Warrior, and both of those guys cuss like crazy. But anyway, so I remember, one of the things that I was definitely asleep in my life. Things weren't burning. It was just a matter of just being asleep. And I was golfing a lot, and I just didn't have a lot of purpose in life. And so I built a business that provides a residual income, and I have it staffed where it doesn't require me to be in the office. So I was literally golfing like 4 or 5 days a week, the country club, and I was going to a golf tournament. So my brother, he tells me about Garrett White, and I'm in the car driving to the country club. It's a 30-minute drive. And I just put in Garrett White in YouTube, and he was having an interview with the guy. And the thing that I remember the most was Garrett said, I expose wealthy businessmen all the time. And for some reason, I don't know why, but that kind of like intrigued me. He said, once you peel back one layer and their life is a chaotic drift or something. I forget the way he said it, but it resonated with me. And then, I ended up trying to buy the book. And then fortunately, I'm like so blessed. Thank goodness that I didn't just buy a book. I almost went on to Amazon to buy the Warrior book. I wasn't quite sure how it all worked, but I'm so glad that you guys make it difficult to buy the books on Amazon, because that's not so glad. I got signed up for the Be the Man Challenge, and I just put my heart and soul into the Be the Man Challenge for 60 days or so. I just absolutely absorbed all things Warrior, and that's how I got introduced to it.
Beautiful. Appreciate it. All right. So let's talk about you coming into Warrior, and you quickly find out once you signed up for actual Warrior Week that, oh man, this is nothing to do with personal development. This is something else. So what appears to be personal development growth program on the outside, well, both you and I know that Warrior Week is the gateway to something else. How quickly you find that out inside of your Warrior Week experience?
Yeah, even just doing the pre-work before, there's no comparison between some of the other trainers and mentors and teachers out there compared to Warrior. It's just real. And it's that being vulnerable, being accountable, just, man, it's hard to describe in words, but yeah, it's nothing. It's just, I guess talk is cheap is one way to say it. You can't, with Warrior, you can't hide behind a camera. You can't hide behind the layers that you kind of the walls that you build up for yourself, the mask that you try to wear. And so with Warrior, it just cuts right to the heart of where you're at.
Beautiful. And how quickly you find out that, oh man, this thing is a little bit different, but it's exactly what I wanted, right? How quickly, meaning you sign up for Warrior Week, we had an interview, then you went to the pre-training. We're not even talking about the Warrior Week. We're going to talk about that in a second. What was it that punched you in the face and said, oh man, I gotta take off a layer here, which I've never given myself a chance. And before I do that, like, why the fuck would I even do that? Right? Because I look at some of these guys that you named, and basically it's like the question that a man asks himself is why? Why am I listening to this guy or that guy? Why can't I just listen to the one voice inside of me that can truly guide me for what I want with the relevancy of what I want, minus the comparison that I do constantly on the outside? There's one thing to gain knowledge, but at one point, men have become weak because men have become dependent of other men. And that is a fucking problem. That is a problem here in Warrior. Warrior is not about connecting men together. If that was the case, then we would have failed at this very long time ago. Mm-hmm. The default or the byproduct of coming inside of the game here is to get connection with other men. But really, what Warrior is, strip down everything, what Warrior is to connect the man to the work. Once a man is connected to the work, the need to have another man hold his hand goes away in his life. And even the putting another man on a pedestal, that idea goes away. Where thousands of years ago, we were idolizing stones and fucking statues and the sun and the wind and whatever, the modern idols have become men. We idolize celebrities. We idolize gurus. We idolize politicians. We idolize athletes to the point that we are willing to separate ourselves from our closest one. We will go to war and divorces with our wives because of a difference of fucking opinion for a political party today. That's what this situation that you and I are in has enhanced. COVID-19 has the fear and the hate caused by the fog of COVID-19 has caused separation to be bigger than ever. Men and women are walking on fucking eggshell because of this idea of idolizing other men. We idolize a party, and therefore by default, we cannot support the other party because that's the devil and this is God. We idolize celebrities. We idolize sport teams, athletes. We have become the modern prostitute of our miracles. And we call them coincidence. And we put other men on fucking pedestal. So Warrior comes and says, hey bro, I don't give a flying fuck what religion you come from. I don't care what source brought you here. I got one question for you. Where do you want to go? Because where you're going, your wife will go. Where you're going, your children will go. Where you're going, those that are following you will go. So my friend, you have a lot of responsibility on your shoulder. And you should not take lightly the decision of where you go. So when you put your fucking head in your ass and you follow some dumbass politician, you follow some dumbass celebrity, you follow some dumbass guy that's been a Navy SEAL and now he's suddenly a fucking hero, or you follow some dumbass guy that made some money, so fucking what? Show me the fucking harmony in their lives. Show me the same fucking achievements that they've done in all areas of life, not in one area. Exactly. Show me. Yeah. And show me their vulnerability to be weak at their weaknesses. Not talking about the weakest area in their strength. You take some of these guys and they'll talk about, oh, you know, I'm a fucking beast in running and doing push-up, but I suck ass at swimming. That's my weakness. I'm vulnerable. No, man, you're not. You suck ass at building a family. You suck ass at being a dad. You suck ass at holding a marriage and staying committed. Motherfucker, if you're not committed to your marriage, then how the fuck can I ask? How can I believe that you'll be committed to anything that you tell me? Fuck you and your fucking push-up and your 100 miles that you run. I don't give a flying fuck. How you show up is exactly where you show up in all the other areas of your life. I learned that at an early stage while playing soccer. When you play soccer, how you show up in the field, it's exactly a reflection of how your life is on the outside. And that has been true for 25 years. I've seen it in other guys. I've seen it myself. It's like, it's a mirror. The field is a mirror. So
that's exactly why the very first message I heard from Garrett saying that he exposes wealthy businessmen, that's why that resonated to me, because I just knew that that was true.
Absolutely. And you came to a soccer field. You came to a soccer field. There was an invitation to come to a soccer field. And this soccer field, you had to qualify to get inside of the team and play. The qualification process was Warrior Week. So you said, you know what, Coach Sam, I'm all in. Listen, man, part of this shit looks fucking scary. Like some of the physical shit, Coach Sam, I remember you sharing with me. I'm like, man, you know, some of this physical stuff is fucking like, I don't know, man. I'm like, don't worry about it. It's not about that. And then there's
real quick. I'll just share real quick. So what happened was, so I'm just like totally absorbing Warrior. I'm doing the evolutions. I'm doing the challenges. And, you know, like in life, it's oftentimes it's like the one thing that you're like, no, that's the one thing that I'm just not going to do. Often is the one thing that you have to do, that you must do. It's like the only way out. And I remember thinking like, for me, yeah, growing up, like, guys would want to wrestle, do chicken fights and I've never been like that. Like that's just never, I'm the quiet, more passive kind of a guy. And I'm like, I saw Warrior Week and I was like, no, I mean, like everything else is beautiful and amazing, but this is the one thing, that I'm just not going to do. And I got the email and I remember I was here in my office and I walked back to the bathroom down the hall and the tears just started coming down. I was looking at myself in the mirror and I knew that I had to go. And so I texted you back, I'm all in. And the rest is history, but it's amazing.
I remember you sharing with me on your interview that, you know, you've been sitting around and watching this thing and you've done everything else in Warrior except this thing. And then one night, you just knew and you were scared shitless and like it was just you wanted to do this as an act of courage. And I think that changed everything. I know that changed everything for your life. And
I'd had so many results. The fruits, I gave my heart and soul those first 60 days with the Be the Man challenge, my life, my marriage, all the transformations that I was experiencing, I couldn't deny it. Like I couldn't not do it. It was just all in.
Beautiful. And you opted in to come to the qualification, the pregame, and that was Warrior Week. And talk to me about your experience of the first night. We go into the pit. What happened to Matt that night? What did you experience?
I would say, if I think back, the words like just being vulnerable, being exposed, really just also being physically exhausted, but spiritually liberated. I just remember, just feeling like, man, this is the chance to really just get it out. This is a chance, not that I had to have you there, but it was helpful because of the stories and things that had been so ingrained in me. It was just like, I'm not gonna hold anything back. I'm not gonna, whatever it is, the deepest dark, like there's nothing that I'm gonna that's off the table. I am all in because this is like a purging. This is a cleansing. And I just remember being like, I am going to take advantage of this opportunity to just get clean and on a solid foundation.
Beautiful. And, it wasn't until recently that I kind of figured out what is happening at Warrior Week. And it wasn't until, I'm sharing this for the first time, it wasn't until that I dived in deeply inside of the Bible and started studying some stuff on my own, nobody's advice, not listening to anyone, just the researchers on his own, seeking. And I found out some shit, man. Here's the reality. Some of this shit is like the first night is like literally what I have been doing for the past 7 years and what I will continue fucking doing until I fucking die, and maybe the next 70 years or 700 years or whatever the fuck, man. I will fucking do this because now I have confirmation. Is like literally what happens in the pit that first night is the soul of the man or the temple of the man is shaken by physical exhaustion, and that is shaken, and inside of that it's like when you pour salt, it is shaken to that point because the shitty spirit of guilt and shit, the evil spirit, the stories, if you want to call them, in the Bible they refer to them as spirit, and it's true. And here in Warrior, we refer to them as stories, and they're all the same fucking thing. They're shakeable, man. They're very shakeable. So because they're shakeable, just like salt, they come out. I've shaken 1,500 motherfuckers like this. I didn't know that. Like biblically, I don't know that was what the fuck am I doing? I'm Muslim, right? So what do I know about Bible? But biblically, that's what I was doing. And this thing has gone above and beyond because now, like literally, I consider myself, and I came up with this yesterday, I declared, I said, I'm the reverend with a T, not a reverend, the reverend of truth. And that's who I am. And ultimately, I've become the bridge between, the religion I was born into, which was Muslim, and now the acceptance of Jesus Christ and going through the Nate Gate and just like doing that on my own without anybody's fucking approval and acceptance and all that shit, and without like putting myself on a pedestal. That's exactly what the fuck is happening. So I can tell you this. The salt was shaken. Why? Because that spirit is fucking weak, man. It's a weak fucking spirit inside. The one that is evil, the one that creates guilt and shame and builds a story and just fucking hangs out there for no reason. It's just a hangout place for him, right? And we're not talking about the malicious one. We're talking about the useless fucking one. The one that just takes space, right? So we shake that motherfucker off with salt. And then you go to bed. And then if you remember, I ask you, don't fuck around, don't watch TV, don't do anything else. You remember those words? Oh, yeah. So I recall now, it's like, okay, well, the salt is empty now, and we don't want to fucking fill it up with bullshit. Then the next thing we know, the next thing we go to the evolution of the next day, and now we fill up that with the right sport, and you fill it up. Now you do it. You fill it up with the words of God, and off you go. After that is the act, right? So now that you fill up with the Holy Spirit, if you want to call it, now that you fill up with the words of God, now it's upon your shoulder to fucking act upon it. Because if you don't, my friend, then you become as useless as you were on the first day. So then we realized that, man, I wasn't a bad guy. I wasn't an evil guy. I just became fucking useless for a while because I allowed this other spirit of guilt and shame or whatever they are to take space in me. And now that I've shaken it myself and salt has come out and I filled myself up, man, it's incredible what I can do. And that's as simple as, if you invite me of your Sunday sermon, I'm probably not going to qualify, but I think I can explain it pretty fucking simply that fucking a 7-year-old can understand. And that's what we do. Matt, we go through the cycle. I went through this and I continue going through that. We go through this cycle of revisiting the stories that are holding us back. What is a story that's holding us back, man? Well, it's a story that takes space in our soul. It takes space in our being. We liberate that, to your point, and now we become this new being, this new person. Same fucking body. Your nose didn't change. Your eyes didn't change. Your skin glows because you feel yourself with some light. That's for sure. So talk to me about the transition of the first night to the second night, but also from what you are hearing from me inside of what I just explained, because this is the first time ever in the history of Warrior where I am actually sharing this, and not because, it's just because it's time, because I've been studying for a year, man, behind the scene. So, this is not me opening the book and, I read this chapter. I'm like, motherfucker, I've been studying for a year, solo, alone in the night. So what are you hearing, brother?
Well, one thing that I remember so clearly from Warrior Week about you is I remember, and it's, how do I describe this? I just remember almost being jealous of your job because I'm like, so I work in insurance and I'm an insurance guy, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's about protection and protecting people. But I remember being at Warrior Week and looking at you and seeing the transformation and the impact that you're having in other men's life and being like, wow, like this is what he gets to do for a living. This is his job. This is what he gets to do. And I just remember how powerful that was. And I know that I can play a role in the people around me in so many more ways. I don't have to be.
Well, hold on. If you're admitting that you were jealous, I'm going to admit that I was jealous too. I look at you and I say, wow, man, this motherfucker has 5 kids. I think I told you this. Dude, that's a whole fucking soccer team, man. The boys, okay, well, dude, you get to do that. And that's beautiful. Anyway, that had to come out because I think I shared this. I didn't say jealous, but I share this with you that you have an entire team. But I get it. You get to play this as well. So please go ahead.
I just see the role that you've had in my life, and Coach Garrett, and the role that you've had in these other men's life. And I was just like, I was blown away at that. And, Warrior Week was an extremely spiritual experience for me. And the HQ is sacred ground to me. And it's just, I don't know, there's just, I think, a desire in my heart for sure, and most people, to help other people and to liberate and to assist. Nobody can do the work for you. You're not going to do the work like you already mentioned. There's no savior here. You have to do the work, the voice, and yourself. I have all the answers. They're just in my own head. I understand that, but just that help and that assistance. And I really remember that. I grabbed my war book.
Yeah.
But on the second day, I was skimming through it before our podcast, but getting back to the second day, we wrote a letter to God, and this might get me a little emotional here because it just brings it all back. But I just said one of the things, there's 3 pages of writing, but just one of the parts that I just highlighted, it said, thank you that I didn't have to wait until the end of my life to understand the pit. It's like, I just feel so fortunate. I'm 42 years old and I still got a lot to figure out, but I have tools and I have weapons and I have answers. And I'm so grateful that, I didn't have to wait, with shame and guilt and, wait till the end of my life to find and to understand the darkness and what that means and what that looks like and how that is contrasted. I didn't understand, you collide with me, with people. I didn't understand that is beautiful, and how I do that now with my wife, and like how that's just skyrocketed our marriage and our life. Because like you said, it's all politically correct and you got to be sensitive and you got to say the right things. But to go deep and to get raw and to go into the pit and to eat it and to own it is something that I will forever be grateful for, and something that I learned. And on that second day, it was just flooding. I just felt grateful to participate. This great big plan, this earth that was created. I know a lot of sacrifices were made for me to be here, for us all to be here. And I just feel grateful because, there were a lot of volunteers before me. And anyway, I'm just super grateful for that.
Yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful share, man. And I have tears in my eyes as well as you talk. You know what's, I'm gonna give you a secret, man, on this. And you know what keeps us in this game and keeps us doing what we're doing, and why you're here, why am I here, is truly, I tell you, my secret is my students become my hero. And when I go with that model, I am the most powerful fucking man you can meet in any fucking space. And I can tell you that, yes, I am the Reverend of Truth, because I model my student. They become my hero because I can see the work in them, and that's all that matters. When they don't go through any transformation. None of you guys went through any transformation. You just simply welcome the hero. And from that space, as long as you do the work with the hero, you remain the fucking hero. And it's just beautiful to see the brothers going through that. Every single fucking man that came in on this podcast has shared it. Every single man that came in through Gates of Warrior Week. Many have fallen apart, but that's the nature of men. Men fall apart. But those that are connected to work, they stay together. And there's one thing that divides us all. And that is the truth. The truth creates a division. And I'm 100% fucking convinced and devoted to that. In fact, it wasn't recently until I found out that, fuck, man, some of these wording inside of the Bible and some other books are like, man, they're all coming together. Like, dude, I'm not fucking kidding. You talk about collision and what we do here. You talk about there is a physical evidence of its existence to things that have happened in many places in the world that are based on collision. Collision creates the truth, collision, division. And like literally, if you go in the Bible, it said, like Jesus himself said, Jesus said the following, he said, motherfucker, do you think I'm here to create peace? You're fucking wrong. I'm here for division. And it's in Luke something, I don't remember. I'm not the best guy at fucking, but he might have not said motherfucker. But anyway, he said the following. He said, do you think I'm here for peace? No, let me tell you, I'm here for division, because the truth divides. And that is absolutely the truth. What is the truth? The truth is the work. The truth is defined by the work. The truth is defined by the work. And what is your work? Your work is to be an example for the gifts that you're given in your hand, which is your children, your wife, and the leadership that you have. I don't give a fuck if you're a trainer of Warrior Week or a fucking cook in a restaurant or an insurance agent. You have been given that stewardship, or else you would not be standing where you are. How you reframe that and remodel that inside of the work makes you who you are. The hero shows up every single day, and it's not his profession that matters. It's the work that he carries. And so, my friend, you are my hero. Not because I want to swing on your cock. That's not my nature. But because I have witnessed the work inside of you. I have witnessed the change. I have been a witness in this process. This is important for you to understand that it's not me that led you in the past 9 months or 10. It's not me. I guided you through an experience, and you filled yourself up with the voice. You filled yourself up with the words, and you started acting. And at that point, I became the witness. And I witnessed my hero. So my students are my hero. The end. And when we operate this way, the business grows, people's life changes. Children are now getting leadership that comes from their dad when it comes to spirituality, when it comes to science, when it comes to family and love, and when it comes to everything about their dad. Who better than their dad to teach them everything about life? Because guess what? They just want dad. They don't want the knowledge of the word. We are wrong. For too many long time, we have been running on treadmill and not listening to the voice. We think if our children gain all these skills that we have done the great word, my friends, you are fucking wrong. The number one skill that you can install in your children's heart is the voice, is a connection with God that comes from the education that comes from you as the father. The rest is history, man. They're here to learn, just like you and I. And if they don't learn math, they're not some dumbass kid. They're going to learn something else. They'll learn music. And if they don't learn music, they'll learn something else. They'll learn video game. If they learn video game, they're not stupid. Because they're great video game fucking players. Fuck you for calling them stupid. Your definition of what they must become is irrelevant. Your responsibility is to lead from a place of power, not force. And I see that in you. And I repeat that again, the fact that the 5 kids, man, it's not easy. It's just not easy. It's like, I'll be with you. I'll be a friend in this time, not a hero, not a fucking student, none of that shit. I'll tell you, bro, it's not easy with 5 kids. I admire the courage. And there are so many men out there. So what has life become, right, as the hero? What has life been for the past 9-10 months ever since, Matt?
I would start right there with the queen, with my wife. And, you know, I would gratitude stack her every day. And for a while, I was sending them to texting them to her. And she asked me to read them to her, you know, face to face at night before bed. That was amazing. And I'm just, it's just being awake. It's just being awake and actually living on purpose, proactive, not being reactive, being the spiritual leader, you know, not having my wife call for family prayer, not having my wife, you know, step in when I'm asleep or sedating on my phone or doing that kind of thing. It's just, I just feel like, again, going back to just tools and weapons, like my wife and I will collide. And we literally just the other day, it was like, we're just kind of looping, you know, it was a couple days, like we're okay. It's a false lift where you think it's good and then it's bad. And are you okay? Is it still bad? Is it good? And she finally was like, or I said, let's just, you know, we just went in the bedroom and we just got to the bottom of it. And it seems so simple, but before, it was so difficult. That kind of a thing would have lasted like weeks and weeks or longer. Whereas now we don't let anything fester. I have no secrets from my wife. She knows my deepest, darkest. She shared with me, I've shared with her because I went first and I led. There's nothing, I can look in this camera and tell you there's nothing my wife doesn't know about me. Things that I've done, there's no secrets. The weight that comes off of a person when you have no secrets from your wife. I can talk to you. I can talk to a spiritual leader. I can talk to my dad. It doesn't matter. It's her. I have to share it with her. And because we have that, and we never had that before. And because I have that now, we can just, like, when we feel the drift and we're in the pit, we have the ability to just say, pause, time out. We're going to go and we're going to collide and we're going to go to war and we're going to get to the bottom of it so we can start to heal and get back into harmony so we can move forward.
Beautiful. The model. That's the work. And look at this. It's July 31st, 2020, motherfucker. That means look at this amount of certainty in the midst of this shit right now that we're in. Like literally, we are in shit. We're swimming in shit. And it is so much shit here that the only thing that is like, it's all the way up to here and like almost here. It's near your bottom of the lip right here. The shit is touching there and you're able to breathe. And from time to time, there's like these patches that fly and hits your fucking eyes and like you remove the shit. We are in the middle of the fucking shit right now. Why? Because the entire fucking humanity has been put on pause right now, bro. This is not an America problem. This is a worldwide fucking problem. In America, we're fucking suffering here as well because we got a bunch of fucking idiots that are not patient, that are not doing the work, and therefore they are filling up their spirit with information. They're filling up their ego with information. And information that they have, they become idolizer of the information provider. So they idolize X, Y, and Z. And the minute you disagree, they're like, I will cut your throat or leave from my presence forever. Children with parents, teenager with other teenagers, people that have started dating each other, new dating, people that are fiancés and were supposed to get married, couples that have been married for a few years, couples that have been married for many years, couples that have been married for many years with adult children. there is a separation taking place between families, friends, and very close because of things that are coming in from out of patient, an overflow of information, and a reaction. We were not like this 6 months ago. Whether you were for Trump or not, or this and that, there was no taking out a fucking knife and cutting anybody's throat because there was like, okay, bro, like, that's fine. That's your political view. I'm not going to stop dating you. I'm not going to divorce you. I'm not going to stop calling you my son or my daughter. These things are happening right now. Consumption of drugs and alcohol are at the highest. Suicide rates are at the highest. We have not even yet started seeing the psychological fucking impact that this thing had on the past 6 to 8 months on the majority of population, the people that lost their job, the people that lost hope, the people that lost everything, the people that have a fucking IQ of less than 80, that they're just dumb enough to be told, and they fucking did that. 10% of America is actually less than 80. It's not data that's not coming from me, it's coming from the United States military. They've done a study and said who can be part of the military, and they figured out that 10% can never, ever be part of the fucking military because these motherfuckers are not able to put A, B, C together. And because the IQ is less than 80, so become useless, they become just somebody that you tell them what to do and they just do it. Ultimately, this entire puzzle has a psychological impact coming upon us. And when I say us, my friend, I mean our children, because that's the future generation. So it is your job and my job. It is our duty, more than fucking job. It is our mission to prepare these children for the future is coming. And it's not by science and math and fucking school and bullshit that we're going to do that. It is by creating certainty and confidence and devotion in their heart to love each other, to love their fucking neighbors, to have compassion and have fire to go fucking collide and divide for the truth. We do that, we're on a work. That's the work. We are on the mission. We do that, we are doing good. So I want you to recognize this, and this becomes a legacy for you. This becomes a digital footprint, this podcast. This may be out there for a lot of guys who are listening to, and they're like, bro, this fucking resonated with me. But more important, the one person that's going to resonate the most is you, your 5 children, your wife, and your grandchildren will be listening to this shit and say, first, fuck, man, that bearded guy fucking cursed a little bit too much. Jesus said motherfucker. So I'm not sure about that guy. But you know what? This other dude, this other good-looking dude with a smile, that guy, man, he left something. And that was my grandfather. That was my father. He left something here during the most difficult time of our history. That man showed up with certainty. And we can record and go back and just hear the last 30 minutes, and we can see the certainty in your voice. This is not being recorded in any normal time, my friend. It's being recorded during a fucked up time. That's the best definition I can give it. So, Matt, as we come to the conclusion of our conversation, and I talked a little bit more than you on this time, but I think you said the right things. And you went to the heart of many. I guarantee you, many guys are listening, because a lot of guys that listen to this shit secretly. I know, motherfuckers, you're listening to this secretly. Nobody knows. Your wife doesn't know. The public doesn't know. Your work doesn't know. You just like listen to this secretly. So if you have any word for that guy that was Matt before all this started, exactly a guy like Matt, in that marriage before Warrior, in that relationship with his kid before Warrior, in that space of feeling like, man, guilt, shame, hiding, why? If you have a message for that guy that is listening right now secretly, what would it be, Matt?
Is it working? Is your life working? That's the question I continually ask myself. Is this working? No, it's not working. Is this working? It's not working. It's not working for me, for the standards that I have for myself, for the life that I know that I'm required and I've been called to live. And when I tasted of Warrior, it was working. So if you've tried something, the proof is in the pudding. Like, it doesn't matter what it looks like, how it's delivered. Like, does it work? Does it actually produce results? Does it actually produce fruit? We didn't even get into some addictions, things that I've had that I've struggled with for decades, that nothing worked.
We're going to get into it right now.
Nothing worked.
Because this motherfucker listening in secret, this motherfucker is addicted too. But
Okay.
he's been hiding. So call him out.
Yeah.
Call him out via your patterns and your behaviors.
Okay. So for me, it was with pornography and just struggling with that, not wanting to have that in my life. And for 16 years, I struggled, shame and guilt. It's not something that I wanted in my life. I went to a 12-step. I talked to church leaders. I did everything that I felt that I could do, and nothing would work. Nothing. It would always revert back to it as a false lift. It's been 1 year. It was August, 1st of August that I started, and I ordered Be the Man Challenge, the book, Be the Man book. And in 1 year, I've looked at pornography one time.
Hold on. 2 times, bro. That's great. Dude, hold on, man. Hold on. Time out. This went to a whole different level. All right. Time the fuck out. In 1 year, one time. That is 365 days times 24. Hold on a second. Assuming that you motherfuckers sleep 8 hours, and I know most of you don't sleep 8 hours, but okay, I'll take 7 hours on average. You know what? I'll take 6 hours and a half. You know what? I'll take 7 hours. 7 hours minus 24, that is 17. 17 times 365, that is 6,205 hours. Hold on. Times 60. That is 372,300 minutes. Hold on. times 60 seconds, but I don't want to go every 60 seconds. I want to go every 10 seconds. So that would be times 6. 2,233,800. 10 seconds. Why 10 seconds? Every 10 seconds, you motherfucker have a temptation. Temptation for a lie. Temptation for, I don't know, maybe porn, sex, whatever, food, cigarettes, whatever. Every 10 seconds, there's some new thoughts that's hitting up. Unless you're in a fucking flow and you're going, we can deduct all that. So let's say 233,000 of those 10 seconds is, where you're in a fucking flow. That means 2 million temptation. We're told no. I want you to think about this. Matt, you said 2 million times no. That is mastery. I want you to do this today. You go on Amazon and you print yourself a patch. And it's a 2 million patch, 2M. And you wear that fucking patch. And you say, listen, man, I'm in a $2 million club. I say, what is that? 2 million revenue? No. 2 million no's to temptation. That's results. I'm not kidding. I'm putting it in numbers because it's easily said. If I dismiss this, number one, motherfuckers that are actually addicted to porn right now or that have problems with it will not understand the gravity of the issue and the courage that it took to be where you are today. And the results are not glorified. So I have to put it in this way. We've done some maths, and the math makes sense. You are now in the $2 million club. You said no 2 million times, Matt.
I got to a point where I just didn't care anymore. I didn't care that I was going to break my wife's heart. I didn't care that I could lose my family. I didn't care because I do care. I didn't care. And it was such a powerful feeling because I cared about God. Like I just cared about him and nothing else mattered. And it was like, yeah, it's been really hard and the fight's not over. It's not over. I'll fight, we fight till we're safely dead, right? That's part of the challenge, part of the test of life. But with Warrior, I've read the scriptures, that helps. I'm married. I have a beautiful family. That helps. The business, the people I surround myself, that helps. But it wasn't until I went to the pit. Dude, you got to go to the pit, man. You got to go deep. You got to go to where you don't want to go. Otherwise, you're just going to keep looping around and you're going to get the same result. So unless you go deep, until you go all in, until you say, I don't care what people think. I've talked to my entire congregation at church about pornography. I don't care what anybody thinks. If I feel called and the voice is speaking to me, told all my family members, there's no secrets in my life. I share when relevant and when called upon, like I'm doing now. And the power that comes from that is so liberating, and it helps me to stay strong for the future as I serve others and as I share my story. It just empowers me in ways, but again, I don't know if it was one thing I read, one evolution that I did. It was just a matter of you and Garrett looking me into the camera and just saying, it's time to wake up. And that's what I did. That's what I'm doing. That's what I've done. And it's beautiful. The fruit is actually sweet. It's not bitter. And my life is, instead of just being good, because I don't want to live a life that's good. I want to live a life that's great, that's amazing, that's elite. And I have the power and the path and the tools and the weapons and everything I need to live the life that I want, to, like you mentioned, with legacy, and to leave that for my posterity. And, warts and all, every part of it, nothing sugar-coated, nothing framed as this perfect person on a pedestal, just like everybody else. The only difference is a year ago, I made a choice to go into the pit, regardless of what the consequences were. And I'm going to go in there and I'm just going to go all in. And I'm just so grateful to Warrior and you guys, to God, to my family, to my wife, because I'm not the same man that I was. And I'll never be that man. Every day he dies.
Woo! If you're hearing this right now, whether it's today that you're hearing this or years from this recording that you're hearing this, there's a fire that's coming at you right now. There's a divine message is coming you at now and says, wake the fuck up. It is coming through Matt to you right now. It is calling you and inviting you to experience awakening. And there is a place to do that here. We've been doing this for 7 years, and we will continue doing for the next 70 fucking years as long as we can physically breathe here. And even if we're dead, we'll be back here doing this shit. Somehow, somewhere, we'll figure this shit out. It's called innovation. I don't know. But what I can tell you, if you feel this shit here right now, if this is speaking to your fucking soul, if this is taking your heart and punching in your fucking face, you need to act right now. And remember, we are not here to create fucking peace. We're here to create division between the truth. The truth fucking divides. The truth divides the liar inside of you from the greatest version of you that exists inside of your heart, but you're too much of a fucking pussy to act upon it. And there are men, heroes like Matt, that are leading today. So you need to wake the fuck up and act upon the words that you're hearing. Or else, don't ever come back and listen to this shit. Go somewhere else. Go listen to somebody else. Go listen to the soft awakeners. And that's fine. It may take you years to get there. Here, act now. warriorweek.com/plus, PLUS. It is your fucking destination. Click on that. Fill up the application. Get on the fucking interview. Go all in for yourself, for your wife, for your kids, for the people that you're going to lead, and for the calling that is telling you, go now. This is a message. If you receive this, act upon it. If you don't, I'm going to end this conversation by thanking Matt for being here and sharing his heart. And I'll have him back here for another fucking update. 4 million, 6 million, 20 million. I don't give a fuck. We'll be back here. But I'm going to end this addressing you. Like literally, when I'm going to say this, I'm going to press end. So I'm sending all my thanks to Matt right now. Thank you for your final words. Thank you for everything you said. I appreciate you being here. But we're back at you, motherfucker. If you are hearing this, you must act now. You must act now. You must act now. And if you don't, well, him who has ear, let him hear.